So I want to bring up, before this podcast starts, that I don't like this album.
Right off the bat. All right, let's fucking go. Why wouldn't we do it any other way? This is North American Scum, guys.
Welcome back to North American Scum, the podcast where we discuss our unimportant opinions on important and unimportant albums. Today's album is very important.
It's important for me.
As much as I'd hate to say it.
I like this album.
I'd say it's important in general. It at least it's... Well, the single that came off of this had significant cultural impact in how much of a meme it was.
Yes, indeed. This is
Bravado by Kirin Callinan.
So, I mean, I can already tell that this is going to be not a disappointing one for you, but you're just not going to enjoy yourself, at least a little.
It's a fucking... It's a weird case, man.
Like, I knew that... Well, okay, I guess I should just explain, like, my initial reaction, because I feel like that explains a little bit of it, of how much I love, like, just how I feel about this album, and that was extreme disgust, utter confusion, and then finally, at a certain point, listening to it again, because I was just like, give it another chance, and I fell head over heels for it. And ever since we started this podcast, I knew in my head that there was at least one album that you would either fall completely in love with or straight up hate with a passion. And I feel like I've just known that was going to happen when I brought up this album last week. I was like, there's a chance that you're not going to really like this, and I'm just going to be raving about it the whole time. Well, you're just like, fuck no, this is stupid, or something like that. I don't know. I really don't. I don't have a grasp on exactly how you feel. I know bits and pieces, I guess.
I'm gonna say this: you're gonna be disappointed by how I feel because I don't hate this album.
Yeah, I
objectively.
Yeah,
I hate it subjectively.
That's what I figured. But anyway, let's get this over with. Get an overview of who this fucking guy is. Who's Kirin Callinan, Australian songwriter. Came across my radar around the same time I suppose most people have, as Matt has mentioned. We'll get to that meme later, but I decided to check out his most recent album after recognizing him as a former member of another band that I really love, smaller band, The Night Game.
The White Stripes?
No. Smaller band. His eccentric personality outside of the music stuck out to me, and it made me curious, and he is known for being a provocative character. I don't know if you can tell, but if you look at the album cover, it is literally him pissing on himself. That and he's made news in Australia for being... He flashed photographers at the ARIA Awards in Sydney, and that personality kind of shows up in his music.
That's why they call it flash photography.
Oh my god. Oh my god. That was just so bluntly...
That was so bluntly terrible.
Yeah.
Go on, sorry.
Whatever. But yeah, I had a love-hate relationship with this album. I ended up turning to the good side with it, and I don't know, I found a lot of enjoyment out of it that I never expected to get because of just the way this thing sounds and this guy's fucking personality.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we get started because I really want to dig into I just want to hear it. I just want to hear it from you.
Yeah, let's just be done with my moment of disgust over this album and start off with the first song, My Moment.
My Moments. So,
and at this point in the album, song number 1, I am digging everything it's doing and I'm loving the hell out of it.
Okay, I really want to know when the turning point is because, I mean, yeah, it starts out eerie. The ominous pianos, synths fill the room, this weird fucking intro with Callinan's deep and sensuous voice just, like, appearing out of nowhere, talking about... to me, it seemed like it was a person he was in love with. And then the first instance of China. And then I kind of have to put any meanings I had of the song out of the way and try to figure out what the fuck it is. And then he grunts into the microphone multiple times. So what the fuck am I listening to is the first thing I felt.
It's so obviously shitposting, and it is very well-produced shitposting.
See, for me, it's a little more complicated than just shitposting. When I first listened to it, I kind of felt like it was, but I think I'll kind of get into that as we get into the later, deeper on the album. There's some songs and feelings I get where I'm like, this isn't just stupid. but I'll explain later. But yeah, at the beginning of this, you might think that, because what the fuck is he doing? He's grunting into a mic, he keeps saying China, and the track literally just builds until you hear him yell China, and then it leads into a Eurodance beat out of fucking almost nowhere. And I love it, because it's wholly corny and it's wholly in your face, and not to mention, it literally just sounds fucking great. Like, the production of it. I have to say that's one of my favorite things about the album, how it sounds. As corny as
the album
everything
is produced amazingly.
Yeah. And the song features Sean Nicholas Savage, even though the other thing is that the album has a packed list of features for some reason. I mean,
yeah,
it's just something I didn't expect to hear. I mean, there's a
lot
lot
of
names.
There's only 3 songs without listed features, and this is one of them.
Yeah. Wait. No, this has a feature on it.
Oh, well, Spotify said fuck whoever's on this one.
Okay. Well, there is a feature. Sean Nicholas Savage. I have the vinyl, so I think it says it. I'm unsure. I haven't checked. But either way, I'll mention the ones I find notable and whatnot. And even then, I probably forgot to write some down. But yeah, so I have no fucking clue what the whole China thing is about at all. This is a song that I've been trying to decipher for ages. And I mean, like, since this album came out. And I have not been able to come up with anything except listen to the music in China. It makes you happy.
I think it's just supposed to be funny, man. And it is.
It is funny. It is fucking funny. But I'm just genuinely have been trying to find some sort of deeper meaning in this, and I've never been able to pull it out. I think that's
he's pissing on himself in the cover. I can't. I cannot try to find deeper meaning in most of these songs because of that.
He's trying to get a reaction out of you. That's his whole thing. That's his MO. So
yeah,
I feel like it works, at least in this song. That visceral confusion I get when listening to this song is one of the things that makes me laugh. And there are many times when I laugh about this album. And that's kind of the thing, though. It's not a comedic album. Like, it's not a comedy album. It's comedic. But
I would disagree.
You don't think it's a comedy album?
I think it is a comedy album. You just said it's not a comedy album. I would say it is very expertly crafted to be a shitposty kind of humor.
See, that's just where I just have to disagree. I don't know. Something about this. And I don't want to open the can of worms here, but I'll get into it later, where I feel like a lot of sincerity is in this music, to where it's not made to be a comedy album as much as it's just really funny. And we'll get into that later. I mean, with these first few songs, it's kind of hard to see it. For me, at least, it was hard to see it that way, because these songs upcoming, including the next one, is pretty fucking funny, and it feels like a joke. And I think we can move on if you'd like.
And not be sad about sad. Song about drugs.
Yes. The lunacy continues. As for me, as the title implies, the lyrics are literally about just a drug-infused party. The verse just being... it's kind of like vignettes of what Callinan is feeling at a house party at different times. And we're talking about the jokes and whatnot in this song. There are at least 10 different moments that make me laugh on this song alone.
Oh, yeah.
Mostly
even just the beginning. Like,
yeah.
You see, just seeing the title "Sad," you're like, what is this gonna be? And then he just hits you with "Song about drugs."
His inflection, especially for me, his vibrant and manic personality. Vibrant. It's like the way, like, nobody gonna leave tonight. I mean, the part of that's just his voice, but it makes me burst out laughing. Some of the way he says these lines, it's definitely like a huge thing about it. Like, just the parts where he breaks out in, like, I love you too. Or even, like, stuff like inflections with, like, I think I might be high. The way he stretches that line out. There's so many moments that I love on this song with that.
And the fact that the song itself is so well produced and well composed adds to the comedy to me.
Yeah, it's just...
Because it's not just making jokes with no depth to it. There's depth to the sound, and that makes it very entertaining to me.
The joke is just, for me, it's always been in the eccentricness of his personality, and I love that about it. It's hard to say. Well, okay, yes, a lot of this is funny. A lot of it is supposed to be funny, I guess, because of the presentation, and then I don't know, man. For me, this song is one of the harder ones to put on the end because it just so obviously feels like a stupid time, but I think that's kind of the point of it. Like, this is a song about a drug-infused party. Of course, if it's Callinan, he's gonna make it sound extremely stupid. So, but for me, the only part that I just don't really like too much about it is the pitch-shifted vocals, which I do get a little grating. They do get a little grating to me at times. At least a little. I like
That's
those. My one complaint. But I mean, I still like the sparkling stadium rock track that just keeps on building in intensity. I like how it explodes in the second half after like holding back a little, and then when it does get to that drop, it sounds so well produced.
I will say on my first listen to this album, this was my favorite track, and it's definitely dropped off from that. Not necessarily because it's bad, a little bit because of the joke has worn off slightly, but there's other songs that I feel like are just more solid coming up, actually.
You know, I think when I listen to Callinan's music, it's like a similar feeling I get when listening to something like hyper pop.
Yeah.
You know, okay, while it's not nearly as abrasive as hyperpop. It can be exaggerated, tongue in cheek, not nearly as pleasant to listen to. I don't know.
Yeah.
I describe it almost as like throwing a pile of cocaine in your protein shake in the morning. And that's how I think
know. This is injecting yourself with crocodile and then like surfing. Like that's what this is for me.
I mean, I did like to listen to this album in the summer, like during the summer days, like when I happen to go to the beach, and like I think My Little Metaphor works better when you consider the Eurodance influence on this album because, you know, perfect for working out.
I don't know. When I think of cocaine, I think more. It genuinely just makes me think of Sophie 100X, like hyper pop idols. When I think of Kirin J. Callahan, I think of the drug crocodile, which actively harms your body while you use it, but you cannot stop using it. That's how I feel about Kirin J. Callahan.
At least for you, I feel like there's a better drug that emphasizes that. But either way, that's we can talk about that another day. Either way, for S.A.D, I'm loving this album so far personally, and not in an ironic way, because there's a lot of things that I fall in love with even.
I don't appreciate any of this album in an ironic way. I do not think any of it should be appreciated ironically, because I think Kirin J. Callan Nanners is 100% aware of what he is doing.
Yes. And
that continues with my second favorite song on the track list, Down to Hang.
Okay, so now I have no idea what your big number one is going to be. I knew Down to Hang was up there. I knew S.A.D was kind of up there. I knew you didn't like it, you at least casually liked it, but Down to Hang. Oh my god, this song. Oh my god. This track is so deranged, extremely unsettling. These weird fucking sounds, these distorted synths, and overall like uncomfortable atmosphere. And then somewhere in that mix, Callinan brings out some funky guitar.
Yep.
Like the sound of this song.
I'm obsessed with the sound of this song. I'm obsessed with the amount of horrifying imagery, puns used, and Jesus.
Yes, yeah, of course. That's like the main thing about this song. Well, of course, it's called Down to Hang, and it's literally about how he meets a girl online, the two getting together to hang, and then from then on, he just describes things that he's down to hang like a fucking butcher in a carcass fridge. It starts out small, but then it builds up to like some violent, very dark comedy stuff, and then it ends with like Jesus. Literally,
it's such a good build up into the punchline of Jesus.
Yes, it's just I love how it takes its time, not just starting off with the crazy, like it starts with paintings and like towels and punching bags, but then political careers, Peking ducks, butchers, Jesus, shit, like what the fuck.
Asphyxiated man with a belt in a van, his dick in his hand, she's down to hang.
And then that first pronunciation of like Jesus always makes me laugh.
He specifically cuts the whole composition ducks out for him to say that.
Yeah, it does. Oh man, I absolutely love it in this song. It's so off-putting, man. Like when you actually hear that and you're like, oh, he went there. What the fuck? That's definitely the highlight and the main thing about the song. Combine that with the fucking distorted production, I'm like, this is extremely humorous and probably one of the funniest songs for me alone.
Oh yeah, no, it's endlessly hilarious. This is one of the 2 songs that I'll actually come back to out of this record.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Strong highlight for me as well. I really love this track.
Definitely with my other highlight and song that I will definitely be fucking coming back to, without a doubt, Living Each Day, my favorite track on the record.
I am glad this one grew on you. I am so glad this one grew on you.
I fucking love this song to death, dude.
This song is so fucking good. Like, not even as like a joke. I mean, there is jokes, obviously.
Oh yeah, there's jokes, and that's why it stuck with me as much as it did.
For me, I love the production on this song. The bright guitar-centricness of it, and then the uplifting riffs, and then just the electronically lush choruses for me. I love how positive and uplifting it just sounds, and then how well produced that is.
It's such a happy atmosphere with an uplifting message, and then the chorus is shrug off the urge to systematically kill.
One of the best lines in the album for sure. And
something about the diction, the delivery, mixed with how genuinely good the song is. It's a repeat of S.A.D. and Down to Hang, and how the comedy works given the genuine talent on display at the same time.
You know, I like. I mean, we're talking about. I say how dark it is. Not dark. I mean, it's dark comedy, but something.
Yeah, it's
about,
dark comedy.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I'd say that. But like, so the way it's gray in the sense that like he can't remember where he quote learned to live each day to its fullest. It could have been his dad on his deathbed or a completely innocuous fridge magnet. It doesn't matter. It's just like comparing those two things and contrasting them. I absolutely love the juxtaposition between the positive message and the darkness of it. This is what this song thrives off for me. I love it. Live happy.
And I like my favorite joke besides shrug off the urge to systematically kill is probably one of the verses, one of the stanzas he has. He goes from this character doing lofty things like thanking everybody in his life, finally confessing his love to somebody, and then he's just got this Ninja Sex Party-esque joke about loving a sandwich like it was the last sandwich he would ever eat.
Okay, so I hate using Genius to like look up meanings and whatnot, and I'll only do it on very special occasions, but this one had an annotation on it, and it was in reference to, supposedly it was in reference to a person who had like a memoir or something called like enjoy that last sandwich every day, or enjoy that sandwich every day, and it was about how he was like interviewed or something on a talk show because he was dying of cancer, and he said the interviewer asked if you had any thoughts or meditations going through this, and he was like, enjoy that sandwich every day. So that that line just became so much darker just by association by that, and it makes me laugh even harder. It's in this song. It's like, you see what I mean? The juxtaposition is so good on this song.
Yeah, I feel like that's a stretch. I feel like he genuinely just wanted to put a sandwich joke.
It is a stretch. That's what I'm saying. That's why I don't like Genius. But either way, I still think thinking about it like that is pretty funny.
Yeah.
For some reason I thought the internet has tainted my mind, you know? So I can only think of the McChicken. You know what I'm talking about?
I've got no idea what you're talking about. Just
You-
from Oh, somebody fucked a McChicken!
That thought process, I saw it play out in real time.
Dude, you just gave me severe flashbacks to high school. That was some PTSD that just flashed through my eyes.
Long time ago. But at first, when I first heard the song, I thought that's what this line was kind of referencing.
Oh my god.
He truly loved that sandwich. And you see why this song has multiple layers to me. I absolutely love it. Even if it's stupid. Even if it's foul.
Even if it's stupid, it's still big enough to talk about. Like, big enough.
The meme famous big enough. So, if anyone knows anything about Kirin J. Callinan, including me, it's because of this song. It's the feature from Jimmy Barnes, the cowboy man yelling in the sky. I mean, of course, that's not the entire thing. Actually, I need to mention that there is, on Spotify, he released like a single thing, like just a pack of singles for this song. And there is literally, there's a single version, I think. And then right beside it is, it's called Big Enough, Is This Short Enough? ? And it's just the meme portion of the song, and that's it.
Yep. I love that to death.
I absolutely love that too. But this song itself, it's not just that. It's not just the screaming man in the sky being funny, yelly. It's a song about, it's a celebratory electronic dance track with flourishes of beautiful guitar, gigantic synth chords during the drop, and it's featuring, of course, Jimmy Barnes. It's also featuring Alex Cameron, another Australian artist I got into around the same time for his great pop music. And the lyrics, this is my favorite part of the song, the lyrics probably. It's about two cowboys, each portrayed by Callinan and Cameron, both tired of living their lives where they are, not welcome on each other's turf, but they put aside their differences and come together as a sign of peace. And it's so simplistically positive that and I absolutely love the metaphor that the ultimate message is just that there's no need for conflict, no war. Humans should all live and love together, which is naively super positive. But with this song, the way it sounds, the big drop that comes in with the cowboy theme, especially in the music video, it just fits together perfectly for me, and I absolutely love it. And that's where I say there's a lot of sincerity in this album. And
here's my hard disagree, where this song is so cheesy, tongue-in-cheek, and self-aware that I love it equally, even though I know it's not sincere.
For me, I think there is at least a little bit of sincerity in it because of stuff that comes later.
I see no sincerity.
It's just
even with stuff that comes later.
You know what maybe it is? It's maybe like hearing interviews from him that make me feel like, because he talks about how he really put a lot of like just real feelings, but real, I don't know. I never felt like anything was fake on this record. Not fake in the way that like it comes off as like, how do I explain?
Insincere,
yeah. You know what I mean? So even if it's like a stupid sincerity, even if it's like completely innocent, that's what it is. It's definitely a very innocent thought, but I think that kind of all this mixed together, something about it feels relatively real to me. At least I feel when I hear this song, I just get extremely happy. And even though it's corny, and even though it's like stupid, I embrace it wholeheartedly. Maybe it's just because I get dragged into the sound, and I don't know. Something about it I do feel pretty genuinely positive when I hear this song.
Here's the thing. If it is supposed to be sincere, a lot of my enjoyment drops off because of the amount of cheesiness that it has. Even if the production is great, the song itself is so generic and cheesy in like the instrumentation that it's hard for me to enjoy it when it in the realm, the idea that it isn't self-aware.
See, I can get over that because I love his personality, and I think that fits into it as a big part of it, even if it isn't sincere, or even if it is sincere. And I feel like that's why. Yeah, like I said, I did read interviews with him beforehand, and I think that kind of, it didn't warp my view on the record, but it certainly gave me a little bit of insight to like why he made it the way he did. So I think I'm fine with that. I still think it's sincere, and I mean, going back to the song itself, I love how we're talking about the innocence of it. Literally them inviting the entire world to join their celebration, that entire last part of the song. Just them listing off countries left and right, and then eventually religions to end the song. I just love it. I'm fine with it the way it is, and I think it's 100% sincere still.
Well, while I hard disagree on the meaning behind the song, or the intent rather, I still enjoy it to death.
Yes.
I love the fuck out of this song when I listen to it.
Cool.
And halfway through the track list, starting at song 6, is when this hard craters, and I no longer enjoy this album at all.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Starting with Family Home.
Damn.
Because the song itself is beautiful.
Yes.
But at this point, I am tired of his personality.
Okay. See, that's what I see. At this point, it's not objectively bad.
It's not objectively bad. It's very well written. It's a very pretty song. The swell end of the chorus, specifically when all the backing vocals come together, it's extremely beautifully written. Holy shit, I cannot take this album anymore. It's making me want to die.
You just don't like it. That's I can live with that. I can 100% live with that. And
you can live each day with that?
I can live each day with that, and I can also torture you in the future, as far as I know.
And you're shrugging off the urge to systematically kill me.
You're shrugging off the urge to kill me when I'm going to keep playing these songs in front of you, now that you listen to it. So, Family Home, I do agree that, yes, it's absolutely beautiful. It's the ethereal pads, the relaxing sound that it gives off, the lovely synth lines, mostly driven by piano in parts. I love how low-key it is. I love how beautiful that swell is. It's an okay slowdown, I think. I was saying earlier, like, the sincerity of it is a huge thing, but I don't even know what the fuck this song is about. I couldn't get a meaning out of it.
To me, it just feels like it's aiming for generic family song. Like, just a happy message that you'll hear in the background of, like, this establishing shot of a family in a like, Walgreens is the wrong word.
Walgreens? I mean, Kirin,
Hallmark movie. A Walgreens movie.
No, I mean, like, for me, the lyrics, you dig into it, it's like talking about him in a relationship with a sister, and then a relationship with his girl's best friend, and I'm like, well, where does that fit in? And then the last verse, it's kind of, I don't know. I just didn't have the capacity to dig into it. I just didn't understand. But either way, I do like how it's a slowdown, but I've never loved Family Home, truthfully, just in general. I mean, I love how it comes after Big Enough to Slow Us Down, but that's pretty much it about it. It's kind of there for me. Mm-hmm. And that's all I really have to say about it.
Yeah, the only thing is the swell into the chorus. That is beautiful. That really sticks out to me. And then we move on to Telling Me This.
And I figure that you feel the same way.
Exactly same way.
Because Telling Me This and Family Home sound so similar together. They're two slower songs. I mean, I think the only difference is Telling Me This did grow on me. It is one of the few songs that did jump up a little on me, at least more than Family Home. I like how Family Home sounds, but I think the new wave 80s influence on this one, something about the ethereal feeling of it makes me, I just feel a little bit better about it. The production, it's like vast, it's luscious, and the affectionate piano and watery synths on this song really make me fall in love with it. I also love his performance here. And then, I'm definitely going to butcher this, George Elbrecht. I'm sorry, Jorge, whatever. They're pleasing backing vocals, and I absolutely love them.
Here's the thing. This song sounds the most... This is almost too harsh of a way to put this, but corporately pretty.
Something like, the production doesn't make me feel that.
The production, no. Instrumentation and composition, absolutely.
Yeah, that if I had to say that, which I'm not, I'd say yes. That's where I can hear it the most. But because I don't, I just not.
If anything, I can appreciate the unique aesthetic that is presented by this sort of sound in an album fronted by a picture of a man pissing on himself.
It is such a stylistic shift, and I mean and then considering the pacing wise of those past few songs that are like explosive and stupid and crazy, it does feel out of place a little. And I know he does not need to keep up the funny stuff for the entire album. Like I said, for me, sincerity is one part of this album that sticks out. But the ballads do feel weird next to this crazy, in-your-face production of the huge other tracks. For me, at least.
Even though these still both feel like they're part of the shitpost humor to me.
Telling me this feels the most, I guess, lyrically it feels a little bit like the most generic. It's just about a strained relationship as far as I can tell, and they kind of get their feelings through their expressions. They don't talk too much or something like that. That's at least what I feel. So I guess the most normal for me lyrically, and even in everything. There wasn't a moment when I laughed on this or even on Family Home. But that's what I'm kind of saying. It's not necessarily a comedy album.
That's a good point, because I didn't laugh either, but I say that and my brain just thinks, yeah, that's because it wasn't funny, but it was still trying to support the aesthetic.
No, I have a point later. I'll just talk about it later, but it doesn't have to be funny. It's just life. It kind of is. It's just kind of his personality.
I agree that it doesn't have to be funny. I still think that it is there to support the comedy of the album.
See, but there's no comedy in it. Is it just? I mean, for me,
I think there is, because it's continuing the with its corporate-y sound that I was talking about. It's continuing the tongue-in-cheek, self-aware sound that it presents itself with.
See, but that's just because you see the corporate-y sound. I never saw that when I listened to it. So for me,
that makes it difficult for it to sound sincere to me.
Okay. I mean, even then, the sincerity of it is not always like the most deep thing. At least in this song, I don't feel like it is. It's just another pop song that's well written.
Sincerity is definitely not a deep thing in This Whole Town.
Definitely not. No. If anything, it's kind of the point is it's the opposite. The dance comes back. The dance influence comes back, and it confronts the shallowness of dating via phone apps. Tinder, Callinan choosing to go down on a whole town, then rather than find actual love. At least that's what I got.
And this is one of the few times that the sorry, I was just listening to it right now. There's a part in the song that kills me every single time I listen to it. And it's the synthesized orchestra into the fucking hard, like, body pump beat.
I do love that. Okay, I absolutely do love that. As a joke and as, like, just hearing it, the way it just cuts out and you're like, boom, da, boom. It is really funny to me. I mean, it feels like, that's what I kind of feel like for me. It is a very simple EDM structure in general. It builds itself up twice before dropping on that, like, hard ground leveling beat. Kicks and all, you know? So, like, it does feel a bit generic to me. If anything, this one feels the most generic to me. I don't know why.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, like compare.
It's probably the most generic track on the track list, but ironically, given that statement sounds harsh, but that's probably the last point that I enjoy myself on the record, is that one bit that makes me laugh.
Reasonable. For me, it's obviously not. I really love this whole record.
I mean,
so. We'll get to it. But yeah, this song probably just is my least favorite on the album. Just, I don't know. It's I still enjoy it as another moment of the corniness. And that's like in the most like whole enjoying the whole album in a sense, not just listening to it on its own. But yeah, it probably is just my least favorite.
I don't know if I have a least favorite. I'm really thinking about it.
I had to guess it maybe want to be the next two, but I'm not sure.
Possibly, but
or the previous two.
I don't know. It's impossible for me to choose. Tracks 1 through like Living Each Day and Down to Hang are my two favorites, and then tracks 6 through 10 are my least favorite. Like,
yeah, but
either way,
I don't know. I guess we'll find out.
I could never see myself being a friend of Lindy Morrison.
friend of Lindy Morrison.
Yep.
This one's a weird one for sure. I think at least it's because it's mostly driven by strings and this weird sample these weird samples just in general that Kirin conjures up, and I don't know, something about this whole structure of the song feels very weird. It's featuring Wiseblood, a Baroque pop artist that I also like gotten into within the past few years because of her like showing up here. I got notice of her vocals. I absolutely love here. But this song is just, in general, just very weird to me. I've never been able to feel like if I like it too much or not. Like once the track picks up and the weird guitar sounds come in, I do like the weirdness of it, I guess. I love how he's able to make it sound like a fucking weed whacker at one point. I haven't mentioned it too much before, but Kirinan's guitar. Kirin, am I saying that right? Kirin's guitar. I'm saying Kirin.
No, you've been saying Kirin a few times now, but I love that shortening of his full name.
I didn't realize I was doing that. But Callinan, he has this and this goes for I think most things he does. He basically uses the fuck out of the Digitech whammy pedal, and he uses a bunch of flangers and effects on his guitar everywhere he goes, including the Night Game records that have shown up. And the sound is just extremely like metallic and harsh, and it just complements whatever it goes with, at least as far as I like to say it does. But I absolutely love his guitar sound, at least whenever he does bring it up.
Yeah, the guitar sound is definitely interesting, contrasting against the synth orchestra that sounds like a combination of the real world, Angels, Dreams Don't Turn to Dust, Galaxies, and the Yacht Club from All Things Bright and Beautiful by Owl City.
Owl City. Of all
I'm really sorry, man.
Of all the comparisons.
I'm really sorry, man, but like it is literally the same sound font that Adam Young uses, and it's the only thing I can think of when I listen to this song.
I just didn't expect it to come up. That's it. I mean, I'm not mad, but I just didn't expect it to come up. But yeah, that whole flourishing section during the second half when it swells and it just builds up into a huge collage of sounds, and the bass guitar in that part too, I do absolutely love. That's the one part of the song that like gets me really into it. Mm-hmm. But I don't know, something about this song being here, I'm not the biggest fan of. It did grow on me a little, but not too much.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, the lyrics I didn't get too much of them either. I think it's about the effects of fame that it has on Callinan. At least that's what I gathered. He's friends with Lindy Morrison, a famous person, and that's it, I think. I don't know. I didn't dig too much on this one.
And finally, with the last track on the track list, my one overarching rule for this whole record, that it is a face, a facade, a joke, not very self-aware, but at the same time insincere, is falsified by one track and only one track on the track list where he says, "Hey, I was fucking kidding, bye-bye," with Bravado.
Yes, and that's why I keep telling you that there's still that's what I feel about it. And I mean, we'll talk about the lyrics first because I feel like that's part of the hugest thing, the biggest thing on the song, because it's the most sincere track on the album, with him outright stating this is him naked, this is him at his most vulnerable. This whole album is just a
peeing
presentation
on himself.
of bravado, peeing on himself. It's
very vulnerable.
It's all bravado.
Urine coming out of his wiener.
It's the boldness,
onto his facial parts.
Boldness to intimidate
very
or
funny.
Impress. And I mean, I can at least say he is trying to either, I don't know what I mean with that peeing cover art. You keep mentioning it. He is trying to be bold. It is bravado, and I think it's a good way to top off all the sincerity I felt on this album that this entire thing had, because of the fact that he's just naturally endearing. He's likable. Yeah, his weird persona is this album. He's just likable, and to me, there's not really any fakeness in the album because of that. You know what I mean? It's not insincere, and that's why I feel this way. Like, Callinan believes and/or feels a good chunk of what he's writing. And mix that with the absurd moments, I could see why you'd get it mixed up as like this entire thing's a comedy album. But I think it's real, and I think that the realness has some jokes sometimes. It's just inherently funny.
Yeah, and now here's the thing. That argument makes a shit ton of sense while you're telling me it, and while I've thought about it after reading the lyrics to this, you know, like in the past. And then I go back and listen to the album, and everything that this song is saying does not impact it at all to me. It feels just as shitpost comedy. This song just feels more like, I don't know, man. It does not change the rest of the album significantly at all to me, even though the message should be.
It's just how I feel then. I feel like it does accomplish that for me. And even then, this isn't the thing that's changing my opinion all the way through. There's a bunch of other, like I said, I read a bunch of stuff beforehand on interviews, and I listened to the lyrics of the album. And the way I feel about when listening to the album, I just do genuinely feel like the message sticks for me. It just doesn't happen to for you.
Mm-mm.
But I still love... Okay, putting aside all that, Bravado is probably... It is my favorite track on the album. And I think it... For some reason, I think I said one of them was also my favorite track on the album earlier, so I may be contradicting that, but I will say for sure, Bravado is my favorite track on the album. And it is also one of my favorite pop tracks of 2017, just because of how fucking great the song is on its own. I love this track. I love the uplifting and elegant nature of it. I love the chorus that just washes over you like a wave of pop goodness. I love the melody. I love his performance. I love the guitar solo that comes at the end with that fucking whammy pedal. I love everything about this song.
So, unfortunately, we're going to have to cut the podcast a bit early on this one. Matt had some stuff to do that required him to leave immediately. So, he sent me his score, and we're just going to kind of skip final thoughts right now, and I'll tell you the album he picked. So, for me, it's an 8 out of 10. If not obvious throughout the entire podcast that I loved it. And for him, he says his personal score is a 6, but his objective score is an 8 as well. So, for next week, we will be doing God Bless Tiny Tim by Tiny Tim. Oh boy. Anyway, we're North American Scum. If you liked our podcast, if you like our conversation, please consider liking and subscribing. We're currently on YouTube, and y'all have a great rest of your whatever. Enjoy.